Barth, one of the most well-known theologians of the last century, was once asked whether he could define Christianity in one sentence. He said he needed only one word: love. Tonight, if you ask me to summarize the message of Maundy Thursday in one word, I would not hesitate to repeat the same answer: love. The liturgical name for this day, Maundy Thursday, comes from the Latin word for mandate. We are mandated to love one another as Jesus loved us. The two actions of Jesus that we reenact tonight, namely the washing of feet and the breaking of bread, to be viewed together as a drama of what we are to be and what we are to do. This night is not simply about an intellectual exercise, recalling what Jesus did for us. It is also a realization of Christ's love to one another and re-experiencing it with one another. What we do tonight embodies Christ's presence and love as we receive it, intimately, selflessly, sacrificially, and inclusively. Love is subversive. In the ancient world, where people walked the fields and dirty streets in open sandals or with bare feet, foot washing was the custom before meals. Washing someone else's feet was a menial task, offered by inferiors for the superiors. Children did it for parents, slaves for guests, and students for teachers. What was unheard of was a teacher washing his disciples' feet. Jesus' action was subversive in that it undermined the accepted patterns of authority. Jesus' example challenges us to create a community of equals, where the normal hierarchy is reversed and the act of service is seen. It shows us an alternative to our usual ways, where power is carefully protected through neatly drawn pecking orders. It is a way that we actively participate as servant and served in almost the same moment. How does it feel to be on your knees before another person and wash their feet? How does it feel to be sitting on the chair and have someone kneel before you, washing your feet? The reading from 1 Corinthians is taken out of a selection where Paul deals with some unhealthy practices among Christians. These Christians normally had a fellowship meal attached to the Lord's Supper. There, the richest members ate their choicest food, while the poorer members remained hungry and isolated. They still had a social hierarchy that neatly divided the community of faith between rich and poor. Surely, they did not understand the subversive love of Christ. Secondly, love is inclusive. In order for love to remain subversive, it must be first open and inclusive. It is clear that the believers in Corinth did not practice the inclusive love that Jesus manifested when he washed his disciples' feet. He washed the feet of one man who would live in denial, of one man who was a tax collector, and of one man who would betray him. He served them all. Jesus did not single out or keep out Judas. The disciples were not taught to wash the feet of only those they liked or judged as worthy. They were called to serve all. As a Eucharistic community of believers, we think of our commission as making the whole world a Eucharist. For those of us who wonder how that can be achieved, the place to start is by washing feet. As Archbishop Oscar Romero said, our task is to put feet on the gospel. Our task is to put feet on the gospel. This task is appropriately demonstrated in washing feet. Washing feet challenges us to trust the encounters that gentle touch provokes. It means refusing to fear taboos and also being willing to help people engage the parts of themselves they would rather ignore. It means never seeing another person as beneath oneself, since he or she is never lower than Christ. Thirdly, love is selfless and sacrificial. Unless we deal with ourselves, we are not going to reach anywhere nearer the inclusive and subversive love. This is my body, given for you, said Jesus, while breaking bread. And a day later, he broke his own body on a cross for the humanity. We are happy to break bread at the altar, but do we normally think about breaking ourselves for others? Being Eucharistic in our lives means embodying the Eucharist in our approaches, thoughts, and deeds. We must be willing to be broken and given. Winston Churchill said, "We make a living by what we get, and we make a life by what we give." We make a living by what we get, and we make a life by what we give. Love is giving, and this giving is the message of Maundy Thursday. In a world where love often becomes a device by which we get things done or receive things, we are called to be broken for others. Selfishness is the most common form of slavery. Selfish people are incapable of offering true love to others. Human history itself is the sad result of each one looking out for himself or herself. But the love of Christ is subversive in that we look out for others, not for ourselves. Maundy Thursday is a call to practice inclusive, selfless, and sacrificial love, which will subvert the worldly paradigms and transform the humanity. So we hear again tonight the new and great commandment from Jesus: love one another just as I have loved you. Amen.